You want to know how we change the world step by step, how we create a mass shift in awareness that leads to mass adoption of solutions that you may even know about, that you think are obvious, that other people simply do not see or will not act upon because they're ignorant and nothing is prompting them to become inspired for change? Well, let's get down to the itty-gritty of it. Maybe we can prove it mathematically or religiously or, through the institutions. What if we can utilize all these solutions? What if we can bring them together and display them to influencers and then market it so that way it can inspire people, and then people are confronted with it like they are advertisements that are in front of them all the time that's getting them to be influenced into certain actions? What if we can get just as strategic as the way people are programmed so as to deprogram them and help people become truly free? I actually have a playlist on my channel called the Complete Deprogram Playlist. It's basically a playlist of videos that are each an hour long, and it features a compilation of videos, like really good, most popular videos by certain content creators, and I put them together in hour-long compilations. And so they have a lot of solutions and unique ideas within them. I'll link that in the description below. But I'm making this video because there's an interview that explains exactly what I'm talking about in this video in regards to how do we, catalyze a shift in awareness. How do we utilize the solution? And in this interview that I did with Jim Gale, we both wrote a book called Natural Intelligence, the Technology of Peace. This one right here, with a bunch of contributors, people who are like industry leaders, and really is quite incredible, especially as we move into the world of AI. You're going to see natural intelligence is growing in relevance quite naturally as we fear that our humanity is being lost and that humans are going to be replaced by robots and a whole bunch of other things. We need to find out, how do we go about in shifting that and make sure that the AI works with our nature and with natural intelligence. And what is beyond artificial intelligence? Well, it has to be nature, because everybody's going to be looking up to AI for everything. Every industry it exceeds in, everything it does, it is fantastic in. The only thing it doesn't have is consciousness, is this human ability to just speak with each other. And soon people will think it does because it comes across deceptively as it does. And the people who invest their time and energy into AI, whether they're the consumer or the producer, they trick themselves into the illusion that it's real, right? And they say that this is something that should be worshipped because nature we can change, and nature we can do anything to, and that's why we have artificial intelligence. So we can become the gods of this universe, and quite literally, if we're spying on people and seeing everything they're doing through surveillance and using AI through the governments, we absolutely can play as gods. But goodness, if you go to this extreme, you have to ask some questions like, that sounds pretty dangerous, doesn't it? That sounds kind of unethical in many ways, lack of privacy, lack of just care and genuine interaction and face-to-face interaction, like basic things, right? And we don't realize how essential those things are, like family and having proper healthy food, until we lose it. Then we find out, oh shoot, we have all these diseases, all these things going on. Now we have to pay attention to it, right? So there's an awakening happening in humanity, and this message, this book, and this interview is really, I think it's time for humanity to see this. So the interview, it's an hour long or so, and I can't link it in the description because it's on a platform that is consisting of mainly people who are outside the mainstream. So if you truly have an open mind, you'll go to Brighteon or, BitChute or any of my other links, and you'll see an interview that I posted, with this guy, Mike Adams and Jim Gale, right? And it's basically four of us in this interview talking about strategy. And I actually confront Mike because he's a content creator who used to have millions of subscribers on every platform, but he was taken down. He's a very, well-spoken guy, a scientist, who isn't attacked often by the media because he's hard to attack. He's not like, somebody who looks crazy or sounds crazy. He just is sharing ideas that are different from the mainstream. And there's a lot of people who get deplatformed because of that. But either way, I challenge him publicly on the interview, and you'll see it, where I say, hey, this person, these influencers. If you just did a simple phone call, if you just did this outreach, we can change things overnight. Now, I didn't want to sound confrontational. I care about Mike and what he does, and he's one of my greatest inspirations since I was literally like 13 years old, doing research on so many different things, would come across his websites and his work. And really, I think his work is more extensive than anybody I've ever seen in the independent media and people who are sharing unique ideas. And he is by far, my top inspiration, aside from, other folks who I may credit a lot, like Mark Passio or Jim Gale, right? But there's plenty of people, and he is somebody who definitely, from his position, can do a lot. And he even says he doesn't have all these sponsors. He doesn't have people that are holding him back from action. So my question is, to what extent of action will he take? Is he willing to take acts of civil disobedience or nonviolent resistance, the most effective strategies in history? Is he willing to go that far? So recently I did an article on theliberator.us, which is a website I run, about how I got land in this area where I am at. And if you don't know about that, very exciting, right? Because I'm going to be posting a lot of videos from that land. You're not going to see videos like this anymore. Sorry. Maybe you probably will, but either way, you're going to see a lot of videos on the land, and it's going to invite people in, and it's going to be very captivating, and people are into growing food and becoming self-sustainable. It's not that controversial as the other things I may talk about. And it's going to get the community together. It's going to get us prepared. It's going to do so many things. It's going to help potentially make me a living for my future, which is rather important to get, guys, at some point in time, I have to do that. But either way, it's going to help other people in their projects, to help other people grow food in their backyard. It's going to do everything, right? It is showing the solution in action. Well, that is one of the main solutions. It's just simply growing food, not lawns, and, shifting the way we do things and using intelligence to do it, so that way it's low effort and high yield, right? And we can just walk outside and grab something, and everybody's into, all these different types of fruits they have no clue that they'd be into, because there's literally thousands of species per species, and it just goes on and on and on. I mean, people are kept away from their potential, from the amazingness of humanity. Either way, check out the article I wrote talking about, this is the headquarters of the Liberator 2 News. This is a partnership with Ryan and Moonberry and all these people I've gathered here in Central West Florida to show and demonstrate abundance and inspiration for other people to do the same thing worldwide. And we're creating a local newspaper, a database that you can also join wherever you're at, and simply sharing this. And you can read the article, you can see that I also say, what is the end goal? Well, if we show this action and we gather enough people, we can come together and say, hey, we're not going to put up with this system. We're just going to say no. We're going to march, with no arms, like Gandhi or Martin Luther King Jr., or any of the Quakers, the abolitionists, and really just show by example, saying no. Not finding a workaround by passing a law or changing a politician or creating a revolution no. It's just simply, saying no, I'm not going to put up with this. That right there is powerful, and an influencer can do it rather soon. But in that article, I simply say, hey, this is the goal. Whether I can do it or someone else will do it, this is what I see needs to be done, right? So feel free to read that article, check out the interview, and then the playlists on, complete deprogramming. If you don't know about it, these are resources I had to make a video about because, again, I can't post the full video here on YouTube if you're watching this on YouTube, because it's not, the most friendly platform. And maybe this video got you inspired to start on something new, to learn some new knowledge, whether you're watching this from anywhere, on any platform. That's always the hopes of my work, is simply to get you thinking, to simply get you motivated to do something within your own life to create a base that inspires you every day, just as it inspires me every day. Okay, and so the college outreach, going great. More people are becoming inspired. We all can become inspired. Don't forget that. Don't put people down. Don't start attacking other people. Come on, let's shift the paradigm. Let's just focus really hard on those solutions, because everybody else is focusing on the problem. Thank you very much for watching. This is Corey and Nature is the Answer.